Oh, God, that's some good cocaine. Woo! All right, let's go. Hey, I have to make something new up.
Actually, Grape, I have an important question for you for your own opinion.
Answer.
If two vegans argue, is that considered beef?
Every week I consider just leaving and never coming back.
Considered vegan? Considered beef? No, I wouldn't say it'd be considered beef.
Okay, that's all you wanted.
I think it'd be considered a turf war, but sure. All right. Is everybody good to go? Checks all around, yes?
Yep.
Again, considering it, but I'm good to go and never come back.
I know you're considering it. Don't worry. We have you here for a little while. Just it's okay. You only have to deal with a couple of bad puns. You know my rules. All right. So Clyde, is the bard ready to go?
Yes.
All right. Then we have the not a furry ready to go. Hey, you were the one who said yes.
I did not say yes.
Mr. Niram is our hungry dragonborn ready to go.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and get ourselves stepped off in a night session of Dungeons and Dragons. Stepping off where we last left our beloved and intrepid adventuring party. We go ahead and do so just as they have managed to survive a small pirating attack. The encounter leaving many of them somewhat bleeding and scarred, but alive nonetheless. After looting the corpses and both finding some rather interesting loot on board the Fishmen Pirates ship, our party has managed to find themselves with a good deal of wealth after this small encounter. For doing so, our group has now found themselves sailing once again towards the ever colder and almost depressed air to the north. The air itself is cold and dingy. The salt that rides upon the waves almost feels heavy and scars across your face from how cold and ice-like it is. You look over towards the sides and seeing into the water, there are creatures in the water. Not unlike anything you've truly seen, but most of them look predatorial. Or, at the least case, territorial. As we pick up there and go ahead and get back into character, we do so just as our party is roughly about a day and a half away from their location and destination. The sight of land up ahead from the crow's nest is able to be seen. However, it is still a day and a half away. And what awaits you seems to be some sort of rocky beach. Something that doesn't look too comfortable to walk across. And we'll pick up there. And I will open the floor to you all.
All right, so we currently. How long has it been since we had the fight with the Katoas and the golems?
It's been roughly about maybe 6-7 hours.
Yeah, Velas is going to find somewhere to lay down because pain.
Okay. From the scars and teeth marks left in your ass, you go ahead and ow, 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 and shuffle your way below deck. Because it is starting to get dark. The sun is starting to set.
Yeah, he's like, that's my bit of combat for the day, probably for the week.
Okay. So, shambling your way downstairs below deck, you do pass by a couple of other crewmen who do just get out of your way. Go ahead and saunter yourself over and mount into your own little hammock. And that allows you to sleep comfortably or with the relative sway to the ship. Anybody else wish to do anything as the night slowly starts creeping in, as the sun starts disappearing?
Clyde is going to go down to like the cook type area, and he's gonna be like, you know what? Let's cook something. Why? Why not?
What would you like to try and cook?
What do we have, just out of curiosity? Because my first reaction is just take a pot or a pan and just start throwing stuff into it and hope that it turns out good.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a general survival check.
Okay, give me 1 second because my sheet is being slow, like always. I don't think I have any pluses to add to it, but it can never hurt to check. You know what I mean? Right?
Never
Mhm.
hurts to check.
Yeah. Straight up roll is a 19 though. So
19. All right.
yeah. And survival is no adding anything.
All right.
No pluses, no negatives,
Just there.
yep.
All right. As you go through the motions as the sun starts setting, you go over and start just throwing things into a pot. The pot itself becomes full of bits of dried meat, fresh fish. From what you can tell is maybe like 3 different kinds of spices. You don't even know what they are. You
Mhm.
throw in a giant leaf, which you can only think is sage. And by the end of it, as you just throw everything into this stew that's becoming, you go in and taste it after a little while. It's actually pretty palatable. It's not the best, but it'll certainly go down easy.
Success. Alright, and then we call everyone being like, hey yo, soup's on. And hope that everyone in the ship enjoys the food.
All right. You shuffle about and asking everybody if they want to enjoy a little bit of your stew. The stew itself goes by relatively quickly, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Seems the crew are hungry, and especially are more than happy to have a midnight snack before they head out and finish their night duties.
Mm-hmm.
But as that comes to fruition and you finish off your pot, what would you like to do?
We clean up the kitchen because
Welcome to D&D, where you do a house cleaning simulator.
come on, it's not fair to like leave a messy kitchen for everyone else, you know? We go about cleaning the kitchen and the pots and the pans to the best of our abilities.
All right. You can go about, start cleaning. You do run into a couple of crew who come down trying to get some fresh water before heading to bed.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's not much else to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing so, Ryoka finds herself to bed, and so does your Zoram.
Mm-hmm.
As the night slowly comes to, and the sun sets, and the moon starts coming out to a more fulfilled nature. Nira, were you staying up on the top deck?
No, Nerm's gonna go lie down as well.
Alright.
He needs a bit of rest after what happened.
And the exhaustion setting in from just setting out from a little bit of rage and having a bit of a temper tantrum, eh?
Yep.
Alright. So, throughout the night, it is quiet. Just something about the nature of this place that you're around that is just unnerving. And quietly so. You feel the cold seeping in through the cracks in the ship. Every little crevice and cold corner. Feeling just implacably weird. Volus, you even going through some of the motions while you sleep. The idea of possibly trying to read your book, even through the pain and just, well, usual suffering you go through at night. You don't actually feel like doing it, which is quite interesting. The essence of knowledge, learning from this stolen book, just doesn't seem palpable to you right now. As if to add one already depressing thing to another depressing nature.
Oh, great! I can't even read.
You can try and push yourself to do it. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't even do alchemy when he's injured. It's a no-go for him.
As you would sleep, or as you would trance here and there, you would get some subtle and relatively friendly questions from Zoram, who does bunk with you, asking you mostly about what kind of creature would bite you in the ass.
I guess he would go on to explain about the whole mimic situation.
Zoram would laugh at that. Mostly the situation, not at you, but he would laugh.
Very funny, I know. Probably should have double-checked before standing on a magical chest.
Zoram nods and snickers very gently. And turns over in his hammock and goes to sleep. The hours pass. The moon disappears and the sun rises once again. You walk above deck after getting a relatively tasteless tack meal. A couple of pieces of dried meat that have been rehydrated in some sort of broth with some sort of fresh fruit. The fruit itself is a satisfying accompaniment. Eventually you go above deck and you look about and you do see what land waits before you, no longer having to have it described to you by word of mouth from the crew. You see is ice, and there's not much else in a way to describe that, is ice. A land of a tundra, cold and unforgiving. The rocky beach is just a small keep out sign if you had ever seen one. No sharp edges or jagged teeth. Just the idea of how inhospitable this place is. Over the next day and a half, you guys have managed to make it a relative to the time you had, a good distance and good timing. having made it here a few days early by a mixture of good tide and good wind. Iris slowly maneuvers the boat over to the port side to allow you guys to at least have some decent perspective from the sideway of the ship instead of leaning over the bow end. Yeah, the bow. No, aft. Yeah. You would now lean over the bow, keeping an eye out for these rolling and frozen tundra plains. These lands are uncomfortable to look at. Although you do see sailing towards it from this bow end what looks to be some sort of a small port, only large enough to hold about 3 large or even medium ships. The place itself is destitute, if one could ever say that. The port is smothered in what looks to be a layer of soft ice and snow. Gangs and groups of things you can only peer or think are figures are currently just decorated around, some of them in groups surrounding what look to be little plumes of smoke, perhaps to be a fire. The only buildings seen along this port look to be about 3 large buildings, one of them seeming to be, from this distance, hopefully some sort of warehouse to restock your ship. And the other 2 places, hopefully one of 2 being an inn, or even somewhere you might be able to rest with some warmth. As the ship slowly crawls its way over to the port, you see there is some scurrying and action that starts building itself up upon the layers of this boardwalk that leads out to the water. A small envoy of figures comes out to meet you as the ship slowly crawls into its own little docking port. The figures themselves look almost like bodybuilders, thick and hardy. Much like you, Niram. You see them, these people look strong. They have to be strong. And even standing here as the cold breeze blows on from the land, the place is cold. And it is not somewhere you would be comfortable with. As the envoy waits, there's about 4 of them. 3 of them look to be muscle, or at least an armed escort for the main individual who stands there. All of which look to be humanoid, mixtures of half-elves, humans, and 1 half-orc. See, that half-orc is currently the one standing to the head of this little envoy, and waits for you to disembark your ship.
I gotta be right back a moment,
Nope,
sorry.
you're good. Well, you stand there quietly, rubbing your arms just how cold it is, and the thought of needing to stay here any longer than need be. In doing so, eventually Iris comes by and has the crew lay out the gangplank. She looks at all of you. Can I have you guys at my back for this? I'm not sure I want to trust pirates. And even Ryoka stands there beside you.
Naren's gonna come with, but he's gonna note that he won't take over the talking part.
Alright. As quietly as these soft winds that blow across the helm the ship and down its bow, smothering you in a warmth-stealing and unloving way. I don't think I can explain enough as to just how cold this place is. As the envoy waits for you and you start stepping down off the ship, the envoy greets you with a very gruff and unknown language. None of you would know what he was speaking. But Iris comes down and speaks her own language. Common.
I was just about to cast Detect Language, but
Hey, you want to detect language? Sure, go for it.
yeah. Alright. Cast.
Okay.
What do I roll for it?
No, you don't roll for anything. When you
Ah.
do comprehend languages, you just comprehend what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, it's much more of a technical spell when doing it when somebody's speaking, so you don't really get the whole translation, but you get mainly what is like somebody interpreting it for you. If it were written, you would have a much easier time.
Mm-hmm.
But listening in as you cast the spell, the main thing you can think of that pops into your head is this individual, this half-orc, is speaking a language called Namariq.
Mm-hmm.
Something spoken only by the brigade and by the brigadieros that live in there.
Mm-hmm.
The rough translation that you get is, "We've seen your colors. We've seen your ship. What's your business here in the lands of ice and Gedron?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's the rough translation that you get.
Mm-hmm. And you said Iris is also speaking in common to the man, I'm guessing?
Yeah, Iris is going to speak in common, the language that she knows. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer it if you spoke in common, if you can do that. And the half-orc kind of grunts at her. Yeah, I can speak in common. What is to you? Why are you here? We're here to speak with Gedron. We're here to speak about passing through her lands, and at least letting our ship dock here, for the time required to do so. Here to speak with Gedron. On what accord? Diplomacy, mostly, I think. If that's alright with you, I guess. But if you don't want to hear an envoy out, I guess Gedron would miss out. Hey, I never said anything about stopping you. You're here to speak with the Queen. I guess if you don't want to cause any bad blood, you should speak to her before traversing her lands. Aye. So tell me, Half-Blood, what are you and the rest of your crew doing here?
But it just kind of like leans over to the closest crew member and just in a very short, very quiet whisper is like, "Isn't he also a half-blood?"
He's a half-orc, he's talking about a half-elf.
Same difference. We don't know what other half he is. Half dwarf, half human,
Normally
half elf.
it's half-human.
Yeah, but we don't know that.
Say the closest person to you would be Ryoka. She looks over, it's like, I don't fucking know. Whatever he is whatever he is. I mean, look at him.
Exactly.
He's buck-toothed and tusked.
Well, I wasn't more. I was just more so talking about his blood, not his appearance.
Well, I'm going to talk about him how I want to talk about him.
Alright. That's fair.
Alright. So, eventually, as the conversation comes back to fruition, well, we're here to speak with Ketchum, or at least speak with one of her envoys, because we know she's a bit busy. We don't want to alert her too much about what's going on, because it doesn't really involve her. Ah, that's why you're here. Speaking with somebody else behind her back, are you? No, just doing some business. Would you send a messenger? Depends. How much are you willing to officiate this little sealing of a deal? Ah. How much do you want? Call it my own nature, but say 15 each. For your envoy? Very well. I think we can make that a deal. Half-orc looks around with kind of a half-cocked smile. You're not too good at doing this business and negotiation stuff, are you? No, but normally I know when someone has their mind set on something, I shouldn't normally talk down to them. Besides, I'd rather make this deal as quick as possible. You're smarter than you look.
Can I just kind of like lean over to Ryoka again and being like, 15 what? Cows?
Normally when people like this talk about numbers, it's probably about gold.
Yeah, but he never specified, so for all we know, he could mean 15 lashings.
Ryoka kind of nods. I don't know. Everybody thinks it's gonna be gold. So might as well, right? Like, who's gonna give 15 cows?
Someone who has a lot of cows?
That's 15 each. That's 60 cows. How the hell are we gonna have 60 cows on a ship?
I don't know.
When you figure it out, let me know.
I mean, we're not farmers.
So, with that, as you guys continue discussing that, there isn't too much here to go off of. Eventually, from the ship stores, there is a small sack that's brought up. The pouch is handed over to the half-orc who goes over, sorts through it, counts a couple of pieces out. Brings one of the pieces up and chews on it, and puts it out of his mouth and drops it back into the pouch. Alright. I don't think an envoy needs to be sent out here. I think whatever business you need to attend can be attended to. Cause no trouble around here. You won't find any. Understood? Loud and clear. Don't need to worry about my people causing too much of an issue. I'm just worried about yours. We might be pirates. At least we have some decency here. Eventually, the envoys head back to their usual place, walking amongst these small crowds and groups of individuals who are standing by large fires that are currently burning in what seems to be some sort of a large fire pit.
I return.
Welcome back.
Well, you return just in time to find yourself at the tail end of a deal.
Oh,
It seems there was a deal struck between the pirates and Iris. Iris managed to make it so that the queen of this place isn't going to be notified of what's going on too much. She's going to be told what they want to tell her. So you guys can continue your business with whatever it is that wasn't exactly necessary for her to hear. So you guys can travel without being too well known here.
All right.
Just the spark notes. Alright. So, as the envoy heads away, Iris walks back onto the ship. She starts telling the crew bits and pieces of things, and most of you don't understand what she's saying. But understanding most of what she says probably be along the lines of try not to step off of the ship unless absolutely necessary.
I was just about to ask, do I still have detect language going, or is that a one-time use kind of thing?
That's not a one time.
Mm-hmm.
She's just going around talking to her crew, just letting people know nobody's
Mhm.
going on shore unless they need to.
That's fair.
However, you guys are going to be a bit preoccupied with the business you have here. There's somewhere you need to go, and something you need to get.
Mm-hmm.
So as you all step off into the cold air and nearly frozen water that surrounds you, and stand there amidst the newly found shores, Travellian Brigade. As you walk your ways across, finally finding your pacings through, you realize just how cold it's going to be, even only being here for about a half day, even with the warmth of the ship. You're going to need some winter clothes around here. You're going to need them fast. See that the pirates are currently wearing what look to be thick leather jerkins that are currently keeping them from the cold. Maybe you might be able to buy some of them from them, or even from the warehouse they have here. If it is a warehouse.
Clyde would go to the rest of the party and be like, okay, so it's obvious we need warmer clothes. I think that one of us should go out with something like a shopping list and buy the clothing.
I mean, I could go do that.
I'll come with.
All right.
Okay, someone try something.
I'd love to see them try. But gotta behave this time.
Alright. So, stepping off and making your way to the majority of the crowd here, the ones who are currently just sitting around these large fires, and you feel their warmth. I mean, it is radiating. And it almost feels too good to pass up until you look over around all these gruff individuals, and these guys look like the kind of folk you don't want to sit around. Tough and hardy, but also cold, just like the wind around them.
Well, looks can be deceiving.
Yeah. Going by to the large warehouse-looking building, a couple of pirates that stand by and just kind of look at you, and they don't seem to want to get out of the way as they're standing there by their fire. And they're standing in your way.
Mm-hmm. Um, we lightly tap one of them on their shoulder and we're just like, excuse me. Mind if we get by? We're in need of some warm clothing. We just kind of try and give them like a charming smile of being like, I'm really sorry to ask kind of thing.
Okay. Sure. Go ahead and make me a persuasion check. Let's see.
You know, like that kind of smile you give where it's just like, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to like be a burden or anything. I just really have to, do this thing, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I get what you're saying.
19 plus 5.
18.
I'm gonna keep this dice
So
out.
20
You've been good to me today.
So 24. Right. The pirate just kind of looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
Takes a few steps and gets out of your way.
Thank you, he says as he just kind of like dashes by, almost kind of like, okay, just keep going. You know how like a car stops for you when you're trying to cross the street? And you kind of like rush past as to like, not take up any more of their time.
I get what you're saying.
That's what Clyde does.
As you push your way in and just kind of open the doors to this main warehouse, they open up with a kind of almost frozen creaking sound.
Well, that doesn't sound ominous.
When you step in, and you're immediately met with a gust of warm air that's almost like walking into a furnace room. It just blows out at you, and it feels wonderful. That you step in and close the door behind you. And standing before you is a warehouse. It is full of what you can see. There are long lines of hanging meats of creatures you don't really know what are. You do see a couple of fish here and there. Most of them are just kind of stacked in large boxes, and the ambient air is being frozen to them. Even with how warm this place is, you do see that the ice that is packed around these fish is not melting.
Mm-hmm.
You also see bits and pieces of equipment. You see swords from everywhere. Different designs, different curvatures. I mean, this is a warehouse of many things.
Mm-hmm.
There are books, there are maps, there are even what look to be stolen clothes in the background. Look to be kind of silk or some sort of other fine design. Not something someone would wear here, but just something on display.
Clyde immediately just kind of like, the frog that's like on his shoulder that he's like pinned to his shoulder that he won at the fair?
Yes?
He just kind of like unpins that frog and just like puts it in his bag.
You take the little froggy that you won and take it off your shoulder, and you put it in your bag like, don't worry, little guy. You're safe.
Yeah, like no one's gonna take you.
Yeah,
And we carry on to try and look for the warm clothing section.
you walk by, and you guys hear a soft clearing of and get a look over and see something that almost takes you off of just how stunning it is. A vibrantly gray and white tiefling.
Mm-hmm.
A shock of what looks to be dyed black hair with two horns that come out from the head and angle forward. The
Mm-hmm.
slightly bluish amber eyes that cover the face create just a stunning visage. And the woman that currently sits there has in their hands what looks to be a small little roll of paper that is lit at one end. And she is currently puffing on it with a very slow drag.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do for all of you?
We are looking for warm clothing so that way we do not freeze outside.
Well, the
Ye-
warmest stuff we have is going to be over there. And the tiefling speaks in a relatively airy voice.
Mhm.
But the voice just seems to complement the body. And even in this cold environment, you see she's wearing a dress. And it's weird. Really, really weird.
Well, I mean, it is warm in here, so
Oh, it's very warm in here. I mean, it's comfortably warm.
yeah, exactly. So why not wear some nice to work, you know?
As the tiefling sits there and points it out to you. And currently see she's very gently, like her eyes are half hooded. And she looks comfortable. Looks happy. You walk over and follow to where her finger points. You find what she's talking about. It looks to be almost the same kind of jerkin that the pirates outside are wearing. There's only a few of them, but there's enough for you to wear.
Enough as in you as in our party. And what
Mhm.
about Iris's crew?
No, Iris's crew will have to stay warm by other means. There's
But
enough for you guys and maybe 3 others, but that's about it. Look, you guys are going to be traveling in open ice plains. These guys are going to be staying in a ship where they can light fires. They'll be fine.
How much for all of them? Clyde kind of like points to the selection or just kind of like does a little bit of a circle, like encompassing them, being like, how much for all of them?
She very gently pulls another slow drag. Well, you know. And she's just staring at you, Clyde. I'll make you a deal.
Clyde nods, being like, uh-huh.
You're
Go on.
cute. And there aren't too many cute people around. She blows out a small little stream of smoke.
Alright.
This place is a little bit cold. You wouldn't mind, well, you know, assisting with that, would you?
I can go and get you a blanket if you're cold, but it's kind of warm in here.
Clyde standing like, I'm a good bean. I'm a good bean. I'm a good bean.
I can't keep a straight face, but like Clyde during this entire transaction is like, oh, she's cold. Gotta get her a blanket. This entire time he has like a straight face and just like a smile, if that makes sense, being like, okay, so you want me to go and get you a blanket, right?
Yeah. Fling just chuckled very softly. You're too cute. All right. Here, I'll do this for you. I'll say I'll sell each of them to you 5
5 what? You cut out, Grape.
5 gold.
Each?
Yep. 5 gold each.
And how many are there?
Enough
Grape.
for... I know who you were friggin' asking. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Ask Niram. Hey, how many do you have?
What are you looking at me for?
But no, it's more of a She looks over and she seems to be willing to make a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But for you, there are enough for yourself, Ryoka, Niram, Zoram, and for Volus. And maybe Iris as well. But Iris is going to stay on the ship.
So that's 30 gold, essentially.
Yep.
Alright, yeah, we just hand her over the gold, being like, enjoy.
All right. You hand over the gold. And she sits there and happily takes it from you.
Mm-hmm.
The leather jerkins that these are actually very thick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jose would be familiar with this. These are kind of like the places, this is almost the exact same stuff as the stuff from Howland. Like, it's pretty much the exact same place. It's a frozen tundra out here. Do you get what I mean? Or do I need to re-explain? I'll
Yeah.
re-explain.
You after you be right back again. Sorry.
No, it's fine. So. The jerkins themselves are essentially what look to be a thick set of leather armor.
Mm-hmm.
However, the armor itself has been what looks to be insulated, with the inner side being what looks to be a thick mat of some sort of creature's fur that's been extra padded with a almost seems to be a softened quilt-like material. I mean, you stick your hand into this and it is warm. Almost uncomfortably so for you to wear anything else but your clothes with this on.
Mm-hmm.
The jerkin itself, when you wear it, must be worn with no armor.
Does it itself count as armor?
Yes, it does. It counts as light leather armor.
Ah, damn it.
Sadly, yeah, I know.
Well, it's
But
better
hey,
than
do you-
freezing to death.
Yeah, do you want to freeze to death, or do you want to lose some AC?
I'd rather take the frickin' I'd rather take the armor and not
Okay.
freeze to death.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the armor and putting it on, this stuff is warm. Like, it's being like wrapped up in a very soft fur quilt that then has a hardened exterior, and you reach up and touch it. I mean, this stuff feels like leather that's been rigidly, and I mean rigidly stiffened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you knock on this stuff, it would take a very dedicated axe blow to break through this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The armor itself is essentially a +1 set of leather armor. So we'll give you an AC of 13 plus Dexterity.
You sure it's not 12 plus dex?
I say 13 because, as I said, it is +1. Leather armor normally gives you an AC of 12, I believe.
I
So
thought it was
only
11
lose
plus
1
dex.
AC.
Let me check. I might be going off of...
This doesn't affect me too much at all.
No, it doesn't.
Famous last words.
Sorry, it would be a +2 set of leather armor. +2 sets.
Okay. Yeah. All right. In that case, I don't even lose AC.
I just lose one.
Because this stuff is better. This is actually better than leather armor, but hell, if you can wear it anywhere else except the frozen tundra, it is too warm to wear anywhere else.
Yeah, imagine going into a desert with a fucking thick leather coat.
No, I mean, this isn't just thick leather. I mean, this is...
Yeah, thick leather padded, freaking, like...
This thing has 4 layers. On the inside layer is essentially wolf or some sort of other cold weather animal fur. The second layer after that is a thin layer of cloth. Then you have a layer of quilt. Those are the first 3 layers. And then
you have the layer
jerkin. Of the jerkin, essentially. And the quilt isn't even just a quilt. It's a padded quilt, so it adds more armor to it. That's what gives it so much thickness.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff is made for people who are hardy up here. If you just have something to resist the cold, then you're doing it wrong. You need to be able to resist the cold and somebody trying to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Okay, so the only thing I lose now is the extra movement speed I'd get usually. Wait, I need to double check. Last movement. Oh no, I don't even lose it because I'm not heavily armored. Heck yeah.
See, it all works out in the end. But yes, this is considered light armor.
Mm-hmm.
As you get yourselves drawn out from your own leathers and make sure that this is worn. Niram, it feels weird to have something on you other than your usual clothes from your back. You try and maneuver in it. You don't have the same mobility as you would wish, but what can you do, right?
Well, aside from the fact that I feel like a snowman.
Yeah, aside from the fact that you feel like a snowman. Zoram puts it on and you just see him. It's gonna be difficult for me to cast spells with this. And with Volus over there, he puts the armor on with no real hindrance. However, it does, I mean... them as individuals don't exactly have proficiency with wearing this sort of stuff. So they, as wearing armor without proficiency, allow me to reread something because I don't want to be going off of the first edition rules for this because the first edition are a lot more tough on this. Sorry, second edition. All right, so okay, by the way, yes, okay. I was going to give you the wrong information, but now I have the proper information here. So, for the spellcasters in the party, since I don't believe they can wear leather armor, or at least light armor, unless you're a sorcerer. Wearing the armor, they, if you do not have proficiency with it, you have disadvantage on ability checks, saving throws, or attack rolls that involve strength or dexterity, and you cannot cast spells. But, other than that, you're safe from the cold.
Yay.
Lovely.
Well, yeah, only a few drawbacks, right?
Yeah,
Just a few.
just a tiny bit. Nothing serious.
Nothing serious at all.
Not like we'll fight anyways.
No, definitely not. Only a frozen tundra full of creatures that want to eat and kill you, and pirates who want to flay you from toe to toe because you might have gold. No, not at all. Why would you think you would be fighting?
I mean, hey, worst case, just use the ancient strategy of running away. Usually works.
We will fight to run away. All right. So, getting back to it. As you find yourselves now equipped for the cold, Volus and Zoram stand there and just... They just look uncomfortable, but they look warm. So they'll tough it out. They can't do it like you, Durham. They're not the same amount of ability, but, well, they'll live with it. So, as the tiefling just resides there, the half-hooded eyes watching you guys dress, well, let me know if there's anything else you require.
Will do. And again, thank you for the jerkins.
She gives a beautiful smile.
Is there anything else around there, like her particular part of the warehouse? Because for whatever reasons, I'm thinking of this kind of like as a bazaar or a flea market type of situation.
I mean, it is. I mean, there are weapons, there are clothing, there's armor. I mean, there's just a bunch of stolen shit around here.
Do they have any music items?
Make me an investigation check.
Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, let there be something. 19!
19.
I've rolled 3 19s in a row today.
Well,
Is
I mean,
this
hey,
dice loaded?
no, just keep your die. Just believe it or not, you deserve some good rolls. Just don't worry about it. But no, with that, you do find, surprisingly, what looks to be a small little ornamental music box. It looks to be made of a fine porcelain. The top lid of it is a small line of brass with gold leaflets coming off of it. And it's painted with a very fine little stencils of roses and other flowers to the sides. It's a very pretty little music box.
Kai kind of like picks it up and looks it over. What song does it play?
You open it up and you start playing it very gently. It almost sounds broken, but it tries to click its way through. And every once in a while, you'll get a very soft sound of music. Not something you're familiar with, but it is, you hear the sound of the bells going off inside. And it's satisfying until it once again hits a broken part of the track and can no longer play. But you could quite possibly get this fixed.
I mean, don't we have an artificer in the party?
Quite possibly you do.
Yeah, we'll just bring this to him later. Klein looks to the tiefling lady and he's just like, "Oh, what's your name?"
She looks at you with a smile. Zora. Tally Zora.
That is a very pretty name, Miss Zora. How much for this music box?
And she looks at you. Since you're cute and you've bought something from me already. On the house.
Really?
We don't get many visitors around here.
Huh. Well, still, Thank you very much. He says with like a dip of his head, and just to like, because like he feels awkward taking something without giving something in return, so he'll just like give her one of the spider coins he has.
You're gonna give her one of the spider coins?
Yeah, just one,
Okay.
because we like them.
You give her the coin and she gives you a very brilliant smile.
Mm-hmm.
If you were not who you were, you would probably be smitten, but she is astoundingly and astonishingly just, you wouldn't expect to find something this good looking in this plane of frost.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but the way you worded that just makes it sound like she's like kidnapped or something.
It's just, sometimes find beauty in places you wouldn't expect.
This is very true.
So, stepping out of the store, or at least the warehouse, did you guys want to buy any rations by any chance, or do you think you're going to be good with that?
And we'll buy. I'll at least buy like 3 days worth of rations. You think?
Okay. You guys already have rations on you. How many that
If
is
any
up
more
to you
can-
guys. All right. Buying the 3 days of rations, I'll say, lady's gonna sell it to you for 2 silver.
Mhm. Also, quick question: in
Quick
that,
answer.
hmm?
Quick answer.
In that bazaar type of area, do they happen to have an accordion or a flute?
No, they don't have any musical instruments quite like that.
What about another harmonica?
Not exactly, no.
How not exactly?
Go ahead and make me a general wisdom check.
Great.
Yes.
I got a nat 20.
Okay.
This dice is being very good to me today, and I am very concerned for when a fight's gonna
Back once
break
again.
out. Welcome back.
You came back.
Because I know the second a fight breaks out, I'm just gonna get nat 1.
All right. So, by the way, Jose, as you
Hi.
get back, Volus now has a set of thick leather jerkin armor.
Hmm.
Same stuff you got over in Halland Keep. But this stuff is actually, since this place is actually colder than that, it's actually a +2 set of leather armor. And I believe you, being a sorcerer, are not proficient with wearing even light armor, correct?
I am not proficient in wearing any armor.
Yeah, so you can either wear the armor and not freeze, or you can freeze and cast magic.
For now, I'll wear it.
Okay.
Worst comes to worst, he just throws it off him.
Understood. So, residing about as you all don this armor, finally walking out, and Clyde, you getting a few days of rations for yourself. But you walk back out from the warm embrace of this building, this warehouse, and back out into the cold. It's not something that welcomes you. Not
Mhm.
like this warehouse did. But nonetheless, you'll take what you can find. Leaving the sanctity of this warm place, you head yourselves back out and walk amongst the frozen air once again. The crowd of pirates that now stand about you. And some of them look over and some of them scoff at looking at you wearing this jerkin and trying to protect yourself from the cold. I'm starting to notice this jerkin is doing its job. Like, even with the warmth that you have, it's not leaving you. The only thing cold is quite possibly your face. But other than that, everything else is warm.
Damn, we should have seen if they had like a face scarf or something.
Most of the people around here just have beards. You don't see too many women around here. The ones that you do have some sort of a facial covering. But most of them look like they do the same kind of work the rest of the pirates do. Killers, thieves.
Can we go back to the bazaar to see if we can't get like some face covers? Because none of the dudes in the party, as far as I'm aware, have facial hair.
Yeah. Going over it, yeah, you could find some facial covering, sure.
I mean, imagine a dragonborn with a full beard.
I mean, with magic, it's possible.
Yeah, give me a belt of dwarven kind, please.
Hey, does a dragonborn want a beard? Yes.
Did you say beard?
Do you know how intimidating that would be? Fucking scaled bastard marching up to you with a full-on beard. Physically impossible.
But there he is.
No, see, he just skinned a dwarf's beard and is now wearing that.
Just scalped the dwarf.
Scalp the
Jeez.
dwarf's beard. Yep. Just scalping dwarves now. That's how far we've come, ladies and gentlemen. Scalping dwarves for their beards.
Wouldn't be surprised, honestly, knowing them.
I mean, it's possible.
All right. So, yes, you are able to get a couple of facial coverings. Most of them are just pretty much cloth wraps. They're essentially what would have been used as bandages by somebody, but you just wrap your head up.
Like, do they have any like woolen bandanas or something?
Most of those are kept for the better people.
Better people. Better people?
Better people, yes.
Why, I never... No, I'm joking. Yeah, no, we'll still... Actually, you know what? No. Let's go back to that tiefling lady and let's ask her if she has like any woolen bandanas. Maybe she'll be nice.
Ask her if she has any woolen bandanas. You know what? Since you're cute and since she likes you, sure, go ahead and make me a general charisma check.
Hell yeah. And I get a +5. Another nat 20!
Holy shit.
Clyde seems to really, really like this little tiefling. There's something about it.
The feeling seems to be mutual.
Oh lord, I just realized this party. They really have their interest in tieflings.
Well, looking around at it, the one person who has remained silent throughout this whole thing is currently sitting there fuming.
Roland?
Devil bless.
Not Roland, Rowan?
Yes. Rowan has been sitting there stewing. It's like, fucking devil.
Oh, look at him. He's so warm he doesn't even need a coat.
He is fuming over there. Just he doesn't really even want to wear the armor because of who it came from.
Naren just like looks at him and goes, "You know, if you say one foul word, the tongue of yours is going to get cut out. And I can't even guarantee that it's going to be me."
Clyde wants his best friend, now his worst enemy. I'm joking, by the way, about that, but.
So, well, with that, he keeps his mouth shut because he knows where he is. And he can't say anything too bad right now. But you are able to secure a couple of facial scarves. You're able to get 3 of them. She gives you what she can. She doesn't have many other than the 3.
And how much would they be? Because, again, just.
She'll sell them to you. Since you really want to pay for it, she'll give them to you for a copper piece each.
All right, that's fair. How about I give her a silver piece because I don't have any copper on me?
That works.
Hell yeah.
All right. So, with that, finally getting yourselves now once again back out again. You get yourselves now once out into the cold. Who would you like to give one of these or 2 of these little scarves to?
First person who comes and takes them.
All right. Well, Ryoko will come over and grab one.
We give it to her.
She wraps it around her face to keep herself warm. And she nods of thanks.
Mm-hmm. Clyde holds like the second scarf out after putting the one on himself, being like, "All right, who is it going to? Going once, going twice," kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Well, it just seems fine without it.
Anyone else? Rowan? Hmm?
Rowan he's eyeing that thing like, I am not gonna fucking touch it. I know who that came from.
Just because she was the vendor doesn't mean anything.
It means everything. What do you mean?
It shouldn't
How
even
does
mean anything that she's a tiefling.
Exactly.
Listen,
Can't say
we
that
all
around these people.
understand. Listen, we all get it that Rowan's a little racist, but
Hey,
towards
for good
females.
reason. That's devil blood.
Wow.
And what if
Do
you
you
have
have
devil
any-
blood in you?
Clyde, how would you know that anyways?
I don't know. He might. For all we know, we're all
Look.
tieflings.
Please do not give this man some weird PTSD or some shit like that.
Oh, come on. It's funny.
But look, Rowan, more than likely, this tiefling probably never even made it.
He just stares at you. You're not changing. Just not. He is set in his ways.
All right, Rowan, buddy, oh mine, oh pal, the bread lover of our adventurous party.
Don't remind him
This like,
about being
has-
breadless.
He kind of has like the scarf up,
Oh.
being like, this could maybe come in useful if you have bread. You can use it to keep it warm.
Oh god, instead of being maidenless, he's breadless.
Oh, no.
I just realized that.
All right. So,
Huh? Come on.
Yeah, at this point, I'm surprised that he could, I'm wondering if he can even put it on.
he's gonna swallow his pride on this. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to freeze to death, so he would put on the armor.
I was kind of hoping to motivate him through spite.
Yeah, motivating. Spite is one of the world's greatest motivators. I will just say that.
It is, and it seems to work for him.
Yep. Most normally, yes. So, with that, you guys now finding yourselves dressed and prepared to head out. You guys have a semblance of an idea as to where you need to go. You need to follow somewhere along the coast. That could be any which way of directions. The best way you can figure is you're going to be going southwest, following the coast in that direction.
Suppose that'll be what we'll be doing, so.
All right. So, marching your way out, you guys give Iris your final, all right, we'll be back when we're back. Don't wait too long for us, but we'll be back soon.
Mm. Actually, a great question.
Answer.
Could most be able to deduce how long they've been on that trip overall? The sailing?
The sailing?
Mm.
You guys have been sailing for almost about 7 days, plus minus some of the time that we skipped.
Mm. All right.
As you guys initially sailed for 3 days, saw the pirates, sailed for another 3 days before they would catch up to you. Then you sailed another day, so you're at 6, then a day and a half. So about 7 days.
All right.
Does that help?
Yeah, it does.
Awesome. So, stepping out and finally leaving in a southwesterly direction from the docks. You march by, and there is going to be no road here. None to follow that give you any semblance of path or even having a, well, uninhibited way of marching through snow and ice. I will actually have all of you go ahead and make me a general dexterity check. And Volus, this would be a disadvantage for you, I believe.
Well, shit.
I got a 10.
I got an 11.
I got a 13.
Good. And now Ryoka and... Yep. Ryoka and Rowan are doing fine. However, even surprisingly, Niram, you're doing well as well. I mean, even as a heavier set individual, especially with the amount of muscle and equipment you can carry, you are surprisingly nimble walking through the snow and ice here. It starts crushing beneath your feet with every step. You realize that this is a thicker set of ice than you would have initially expected, and you actually start walking almost faster than everybody else. You set a decent pace. However, Clyde, you and Volus find yourselves falling behind and having trouble trudging through it.
Mm-hmm.
Along with Zoram, who manages to stay with you guys, but it looks like he's having trouble too.
Mm-hmm.
Let me double check. Now I'm just gonna take out his rope. Like
Yeah, I was.
his length of rope, and he's gonna tell everyone to tie it around their arm. So we don't get lost.
Well,
Alright.
wouldn't a waist be better to tie it around?
Either the arm or the waist. Either or. He's just making a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
It only being about 30 minutes into your travel. You guys still hear Rowan in the back grumbling about having to wear this stuff. But he puts the armor on and affixes it to himself.
Don't
And
worry.
then
about
the rope as well.
I mean, we could always remove it from you if you're having such a difficult time wearing it.
Rowan just grumbles at you.
What'd I do?
You get the sense that he's just grumbling to grumble.
Mm-hmm.
As Ryoko comes over, just kind of bats him over the back of the head with a soft little slap. Like, keep moving.
Get a hold of yourself, man.
Essentially.
Go with the times.
I'll stay with my own times. Thank you very much.
Whatever you say.
As he would continue grumbling along the way, at least he's not saying, "Are we there yet?"
Yet, anyway.
Yeah, yet.
I'm giving him 45 minutes.
But continuing your march, Niram, you being at the head here and leading the party, head and do this, as you guys are no longer on the ship. These lines. Alright, currently Iris is still at the ship. These guys all dead. Deleted. Currently trudging through the snow, we have Niram up front. We have Clyde to the rear. Volus, Rowan, and Zoram to the back. And I need Ryo. One moment. Alright. Be a bit further back. But again, trudging through the snow, I mean, this is deep snow and ice. The snow itself is almost about 1.5 feet deep. But the ice is making it so that you guys are only truly walking maybe only about maybe less than half a foot.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be 12 centimeters, I believe, for you, Niram?
About 15.
15. Thank you. I'm trying here.
No, I know.
Centimeters,
I appreciate
centimeters
it.
are not my specialty.
They are not your forte.
Not at all. But currently marching your way through this snow and ice, it is certainly an experience. Cold and devoid of life. You see no vegetation out here. None. The only things you see that might even hint at it are tall and twisted tree trunks, some of which look old and ancient, and then when you start passing by them to see if you could possibly use it for firewood, you see that it's almost been crystallized by the ice. This place is not forgiving, and it's certainly not somewhere a human or anything like a human should live. For the course of the next few hours, I need Niram to make me a survival check, as you are currently in the lead and leading the party.
All
And
right.
I will have everybody else just go ahead and make me a general perception check if you wish to.
And
Sure.
what do you roll for that?
D20 plus your wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
I got another 10.
I got a 5.
23.
Okay. Marching your way through along this cold path that's being created by Niram. It's even for your tough stature, it's getting really tiring to trudge your way through this. Even though you're still warm, marching your way through ice and having to break your feet through that thin sheet and then continue marching is difficult at best. So even you are having like a hard time of
Man, I really wasn't made for cold weather.
No, you weren't.
Well, also, isn't he dragonborn, so cold-blooded?
Believe it or not, dragons, even as a reptile, are warm-blooded.
Huh.
Magic.
You learn something new every day.
Surprisingly, you wouldn't think to know this, but the only cold-blooded dragon there is are white dragons.
Not like it matters too much given the inherent resistance.
Yeah, but just food for thought. Sometimes the gods can be a bit ironic. Especially in D&D.
I mean, I was about to say, in D&D, the gods like to have a little fun.
They do a little bit of
They do,
trolling.
yeah, that's what they do a little bit of trolling. Alright, so as you march through, you, Volus, pay attention and you actually look across and you see only about maybe 100 feet, give or take. That would be what? 100 feet would be 40 yards, I think? 50? Yeah, it's about 50 yards, I think. 1 second. Let me get my calculator.
I was about to say, I'm not sure about that one, Chief.
Yeah, 33 yards. I was close. I was close to my initial estimate. So, Niram, about 33 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
But Volus, just about 100 feet, you look over and you see what almost kind of makes you just stop and stare is a geyser of steam that just puffs its way out from the ice.
Does anyone else notice that geyser over there? And kind of just points it out towards, just to like show.
I mean, no, I'm just kind of looks over. Wait, what?
It looks like something.
Let's hope it's just a geyser, not like, I don't know, something lying in wait, trying to tear us apart.
Oh, come on, that's half the fun.
Aren't you the same person that's scared of a single bar of gold, but apparently a geyser you are fine with?
Wait, what?
Look, man, we don't touch things that don't belong to us. That includes gold that are found near mimic chests. Or does your wound not remind you of what happened?
I feel like I'm missing out on something.
For a little bit of context, when we were trying to move the gold over to the ship, for some reason,
I still want no part of it.
right here seemed rightful of a bar of gold for some reason.
I just didn't want to touch it. I don't see the problem.
And you call yourself an adventurer, much less a pirate.
I
Like we're
never
pirates.
claimed to be a pirate.
You acted like it.
When?
When you were stabbing the fucking mimic.
That's different.
Right, here,
it was eating your ass.
I'll give you a little
Wait,
bit of a
hold
reference
on.
here. I'll give you guys a little bit of reference here. Technically, marching across, you guys are currently on one side. You have the water, maybe about 30 to, I'll say 40 yards away, just to keep it at a good distance here.
Mm-hmm.
And to your right side, there's a steep embankment that leads up. And over on the other side, there looks to be that geyser that was just blowing steam out of the way. So you guys don't really see on the other side of it. You just see that a geyser, almost about 15 feet in the air, just blows out.
Whatever helps gets us more warm than we are, the better.
Nerem's just bewildered now by that last statement.
Which last statement?
Well, that a mimic chest was trying to eat Valus's ass, and he doesn't know if you mean that literally or figuratively.
Did you not see me come up like on the ship bloody?
I saw you hobbling, but
See, Nerem's the kind of person where it's going by and it's like, wait a minute, did you just say ate his ass? Yeah, that's 5 minutes ago in the conversation. Catch up with the times, man.
No, it didn't try to eat my ass. It was trying to bite me at my sides. I don't know where Clyde's getting this weird fantasy of theirs. Let's just go to the geyser.
Ryoko looks back at, hey, you know what? Maybe you found somebody to love you. It was true love at first sight.
Or bite, technically speaking.
Maybe they like the way you taste.
Well, I can say this much. Clyde
Besides,
already-
it did try to eat your ass on the first date. Ryoko goes over, just kind of like high fives Clyde.
Clyde takes that high five with a smile.
What am I gonna do with you both?
Just keep the mimic away from us. That's what you can do with us.
You already killed it.
Yeah, there might be others.
If I find another mimic, I'm throwing it at you specifically, Clyde. And I hope to whatever god that you pray that it looks like a bar of gold.
hey, Valus, you don't know. You might be missing out on a lovely partnership.
Is there another ring of love that I might be giving to Vullet?
Wait, another one to Volus. Wait a minute. When did you have one?
No, I'm talking about giving you... I mean, it seems to be a running gag that your character always seems to be finding the things that have to do with love. Potions of love, rings of love. So why not add to this character, right? Alright, but anyway, back on topic. The steam geyser is off to your right. Do you guys want to just march by it and leave it alone?
Let's investigate it.
Alright.
So, we're gonna check that out?
Me as
sure, why
well.
not?
Alright. Guess we're going to that geyser.
So, turning about and having this conversation over the frozen wind that blows by and stings your face if it isn't covered. You march over and actually start walking up the side. And the embankment, believe it or not, is easier to traverse than this actual little snowy field down below the coast. As you march up beside it, you clear the embankment and Nerem, you being the tallest one here, actually peer over and can see there's about a 20-foot berth of just cleared ground around the geyser. It seems the steam is hot enough to clear out all of the snow, and you actually see grass that is growing around it.
All right.
At the center of this little area, you do see that there is a small pocket of ice, but the ground above it that surrounds this little hole that is jettisoning the steam looks to just be grass.
All right. Given the fact that it melted the melted the snow and ice around it. Probably wouldn't get too close to that. Just a tip. You know, unless you wanted to have your face thoroughly steamed off.
Rowan walks up to it on the other side, as the rest of you just kind of stand there. And him, being the genius that he is, walks over to it and says, "You can't tell me what to do." And he goes over and takes a small piece of ration out and he throws the ration at the steam
I
geyser.
was hoping he would put his face over it.
He didn't put his face over it, he just threw a piece of meat over it. He just threw a piece of steam at it. Or threw a piece of meat at the steam. Throws the piece of meat at it, and he just waits there, and he looks up. See? Not too bad. And
Give it a bit.
he watches the piece of meat is just jettisoned.
And
into
there
the
we
air.
go.
He waits for it. I mean, this thing sails into the air. Takes about 4 minutes for it to land on the ground again. And he walks over and picks it up. Ah, shit! Ow. Hot. And picks out a small knife and actually pokes at it, and he picks up the piece of meat. Hey! It's actually perfectly cooked. Hot. 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 Mm. Ow. He puts his dagger away. It's not too big of an issue. It's just a steam geyser.
Some people do only learn the hard way, don't they?
I guess. Probably.
Guys, hear a very soft cracking. It sounds like ice kind of.
No, where's that
starts
coming
slowly
from?
breaking. Maybe a perception check.
That does not sound pleasant.
Hey, that's better. That's a 12.
Okay. Anybody else?
I got a 17.
And what
Yep.
are we supposed to roll real quick?
Perception, please.
17.
Okay. Zoram is rather oblivious to this, and he's just looking about. What are you talking about? I hear nothing. Ryoka is stepping away. What is that? What the fuck is that? Rowan looks over and he's currently looking at the steam geyser. Seems to be the sound of cracking ice is coming from the steam geyser.
Maybe we should step back a bit. I feel like there's something
Yeah,
brewing.
That sounds like a good idea. Yep. I second
Rowan
that
backs
motion.
away and you see as Ryoka steps. Let's try and hide ourselves before this thing ruptures! And you see as she just immediately books it and slides down the embankment.
Yep, Naram's gonna
Isn't
follow. She's good.
isn't
Like,
she also dragging like the rest of them behind because of.
well, there's a
the,
bit of
rope?
slack.
Yeah.
Yeah, Naram would also go down the embankment because he doesn't want to be there when that thing actually goes off.
It's not my best artwork, but I'll try. So, as Ryoka dives for it, Zoram follows the lead. I mean, he's going to follow what happens there. I mean, he's not as tough as Ryoka, but he certainly knows that if she's running, he's going to run.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, what are the rest of you doing as currently this thing looks like it's about to rupture?
Running with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same here. Naram's also gonna book it.
All right. So, I need Niram, Rowan, Clyde, and Vullis, all 4 of you, go ahead and please make me a dex save.
Since I'm aware of this, does danger sense work?
Danger sense is always at work here because you have just an innate sense of danger, Will Robinson, danger, danger,
Yep.
Will Robinson, danger.
I got a 4.
I got a 10.
With
Yeah, with advantage. That's fucking sad.
and Volus, what'd you get?
You said it's at disadvantage?
Yes, this would be at disadvantage for you because you are not proficient with your armor.
Yeah, fuck.
Fuck.
Well, shit.
16.
16. All right. Ducking for cover as this thing suddenly ruptures outward, and you all hear what sounds like a chitterous screech, a shrill scream coming from some sort of a creature that you don't really want to look behind you because of the sound that it creates. And as you slide down the embankment as the ice ruptures out, Clyde, you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage as this ice just smacks you and peppers you in the back. Fullis, I believe, what did you get again?
Got 16.
16. Yeah, you take 5 halved, which would be 2. You take 2 points of bludgeoning damage. Nira, you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ah, fuck!
And Rowan, as he's trying to duck for cover, gets smacked right in the back, and he takes 5 as well. And you all tumble over onto the backside of this embankment. As you peer over the side, trying to see as to whatever just shattered outside of this thing, you look over and see what seems to be some sort of a giant creature, a mixture of some sort of chitinous beast and glowing magic. Dozens of legs that protrude off from its side with a long cobra-like hood of chitin and meat that just seems to tendril out from the sides of its neck. A long face with rows of teeth and 2 long pointed sinews of bone, or you can only think of as bone. As it screeches out from this hole, you see that along its back is long-sided spikes, each of which seem to have an orange glow towards the back that radiate a heat that you can feel with your eyes. And it shatters out. And you only watch in horror at seeing this thing just rupture from it. As it craters out of the hole and peers around, its giant head whipping side to side, trying to find out what disturbed it. You see this chittering creature. And you just all watch as this thing is currently trying to find out where any of you have gone. I would like you all to make me stealth checks, please.
Oh, I'm so glad. So, Narum got a nat 20 or a 22.
Okay.
That I got a 18.
18. Okay. Clyde? Clyde! Clyde! I guess
Clyde.
Hope doesn't want to talk to me anymore, God.
I got a 5. I got a 5. I got a 5.
Like kind of being goofy right now.
I
Oh,
got a 5. I was talking the entire time. I got a
Believe
5.
As this creature peers over the side, it tries to look at anything. All of you duck at looking at it, and Clyde, you're just a little bit too slow. And it just sees the top of your head.
Look at
with
the
my
place.
raspberry beret.
And the creature just stares over, looks. Let's see. Okay. You hear the sound of chittering legs from an arachnid body. You hear them thud, 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 start thudding against the ground. Seems like it's moving. Do you want to go over and see where it's going?
Sure.
You slowly peek your head up and look. And you currently see as this creature is actually thudding itself. Its legs are carving out bits and pieces of ice in the ground and making another nest. Seems like it's not hungry enough to deal with one singular little creature the size of you.
Well, I'm very grateful about that, for right now at least.
And eventually, as it carves its way back down into the ice, you see as it slowly starts using some of its long legs and shaving the ice on top of it and shaping it into a small dome-like bubble with a small air hole at the top. And over about the course of the next 10 or so minutes, you watch as this little bubble of a dome becomes a solid sheet of ice. And you watch as another beam of Geyser just passes out from it.
Fancy.
Oh, so it was a geyser.
Yes. Yes, it was the Geyser. So, with that, what would you guys like to do as suddenly this creature burrows its way back into the ground and disappears?
I don't think crying ourselves to sleep is an option yet.
Not here. Let's find a safe space away from this, and then we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
We just, I guess, continue on our journey.
So, continuing forward through the plane of ice you find yourselves stapled into, brushing yourselves off and continuing to move through this just infernal place. Soon enough, it becomes dark. Really dark. And with the sun gone, it becomes even colder. Almost inescapably and mind-bogglingly so. As you march by
Spooky.
near him, you moving your way through and across, leading the helm of this party, find off to the far side along the coast, it seems to be nestled just within a small outcropping of rock that is building its way up. Seems to be some sort of a small cove where you guys might be able to find some respite from the wind.
He's gonna point that out to the rest of the party. Just like, hey, you think we can stay in there?
Potentially.
What if that spider-looking creature thing had that be its home once?
Well, it seems that it made a new one, so
Let's go and check it out and see if it's empty, and if it is, we can hang out there. If it isn't, well, tough shit.
we kill it.
Or, you know, if
If
there's a person inside, we can at least try to negotiate with them.
Ah, yes. Hello, stranger. We would like shelter from the cold.
You guys are too kind for your own good, I swear, sometimes.
I'm sorry that I don't want to murder every person that I see.
Oh, same. I'm just saying that.
So you're sorry that you want to murder people.
Mhm. You're
Can we
putting
have this
words.
discussion from the safety of a cave where we can have a fire, please?
No.
Sure.
I thought we were walk and talking, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. So, walking and talking after that, eventually you do come across this small cove-like cave. The water before it is completely frozen. And it looks to be, it used to have been a small little, almost the size of a creek, a few inches wide, that would flow down back into the water. But it is completely frozen over. Looking into this cave, there are a couple of bodies laying around. Most of them look frozen. You see about half dozen bodies in here. Some of them look to be, and from what you can tell, through the layer of frost that's over them, naked.
Uh-huh.
That's some interesting decor. Anyways, I don't think we need to worry about negotiating or, disposing of anything.
So what I'm seeing is these people just got really, really cold and decided to hell with clothes.
You don't actually see any clothes around here, just the corpses.
Uh-huh.
But
Well, see, that's what Clyde's telling himself so that way he feels okay.
mark out what it kind of looks like.
In Clyde's head, he's just like, okay, they said to hell with clothes, and
There is a small little entrance to what looks to be a further on cave through
Mhm.
this, what I'm marking it red, as I usually do for entrances. Looks to be another entrance to somewhere else or deeper into the cove, or at least this cave system. There are currently bodies, at least from what you can tell, are hopefully frozen solid and dead.
Yes, let us hope.
About six bodies there. And they're huddled together. So these bodies being huddled together, you all being now within eye line sight of this key. I mean, it is much better now that the wind isn't blowing on you. But it is coming into the mouth of this cove, but not as frequently as one might think. Would anyone like to do anything with the bodies? Check them out, investigate them, or otherwise?
yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's check them out.
All right.
Like sleuths do.
So, going over to check them out, make me a medicine check.
10.
10. It looks like these guys froze to death, as far as you can tell. No stab wounds, no cuts. You do find that on the back of them, as you're kind of dusting off some of the snow and ice that is layered onto the body, on the right shoulder blade, you find what looks to be a brand.
Oh, what kind of brand?
It looks to be some sort of a rune. It looks to be like somebody is marking them.
Uh-huh. So someone is marking their kills. That's what I'm getting from this. Did they have any strangulation marks?
Nope. Just froze to death.
So what I'm seeing here, and great, please tell me if I'm wrong from deductive reasoning and all that.
You may deduce what you wish. I cannot tell you if you are right or wrong.
Cause I'm just gonna tell people being like, hey, so these bodies kind of look like they were stripped and then left to freeze. I don't think that cave is a good idea. And now he waits for the others to respond.
Probably, but we could probably deal with whatever's in there as well.
Are you sure about that, buckaroony?
We can never be sure of anything unless we see what we're up against. I mean, we just took on a bunch of pirates not too long ago. So I'm at least a little more confident in our combative skills.
Yeah, but you are, but I'm not.
Says the one that mercilessly wanted to murder a mimic.
Again, that mimic was eating you. Alive.
In any case, if we don't want to freeze our ass off anymore, so at least for the moment, we will have to go in anyways. But if they're so adamant about it, why don't we just make it up to a vote?
Mm-hmm. All in favor of not going to the creepy cave, raise your hand. I'll wait.
It seems the crowd has spoken.
All in favor of going to the creepy cave where we might die?
Sure. Why not?
I
I
said
haven't had to fret too much about my life in the last few days.
Clyde
And
looks at
these-
him with the feeling of betrayal.
And keep in mind, with the certain thing we're on, that could just be the same thing we tried.
Mm-hmm.
So, you guys gonna try and go into the cave?
Yes.
Alright. So, marching forward into this mouth cave, you keep moving forward, and upon doing so, the air that actually comes up from the cave is not cold. It's actually rather warm.
What, next you're going to tell us the walls are damp and slimy?
Nope. Just the air is warm. And there's heat coming from down below. Certainly not enough to keep the other 6 over there alive. But marching your way forward as you continue stepping down into this cave, Niram, I suppose you take the lead again, correct?
Looks like it.
If you don't want to, you don't want to. Rev can take the lead.
Probably a better idea.
So you're going to take the lead?
No, it's a better idea that Ryo could take the lead.
Okay. Then Ryoko will take the lead. Alright. Through the twists in the cave, it leads down, and actually at a pretty steep decline as you walk through it. In doing so, it's getting warmer. And you can almost sense that because the walls around you seem to be trapping the heat in, or at least funneling it forward. As you continue marching forward, just about maybe 50 to 60 feet in, you come across what seems to be a large doorway. A thick iron door that seems to preside pretty much over the entirety of this hall. And it's shut, and you don't know how to open it.
Go over and knock.
Okay. You go over and as you knock against it,
Mm-hmm.
you do hear something on the other side of the door. However, you're not sure what it is.
Hello.
That's what will end the night session.
Oh. Okay.
As you say, hello, that's what will end the night session.
You just
Mhm.
hear a sound of a shotgun in the background cocking up.
Oh no.
Wouldn't be
Well.
the first time.
As we go ahead and end today's session, I will go ahead and do this. It's hello, those of you beautiful people on Twitch. Thank you for coming by and staying with us for as long as you have. I know it is sometimes quite weird to sit around and listen to other people play D&D, but hey, sometimes people find that enjoyable. And maybe you did too. If you did find it enjoyable, perhaps you might find it enjoyable to find out just how this party came to be, with a little bit of a YouTube log that can be set up over there. You can find the link. Or, if you enjoyed it enough to want to keep on coming by, you can go ahead and check out the Discord link over there for Behemoth. And finding that, you'll be able to find out if there will be a stream per our usual every Saturday, just about starting 2 to 2:30 p.m. East to about 8:30 p.m. European Central or European Standard Time.
Wiggles eyebrows.
But other than that, before I start begging for other things, I will go ahead and hand it to Behemoth as we do so.
Thank you. But yeah, as Grape mentioned, generally the sessions will start at about 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, which is like, what, 11:30 Pacific? God, I'm bad with time zones. Anyways, generally it's around Saturdays. Not much else is going on here, so keep an eye out on the Discord to see if the session's starting or not. Generally, there's like a little bit of a preamble, bit of catch up, all that jazz. Always fun. Yeah, thanks for sticking around and take care.